The Zhou family, the wealthiest in the city, adopted me from an orphanage and treated me like their most cherished treasure. They didn't care how well I performed academically, as long as I wore pretty princess dresses and obediently called them Mom and Dad, I would be rewarded. Even Zhou Zhishan, the eldest son whom outsiders described as stubborn and ill-tempered, treated me like his own sister and spoiled me rotten. Even after the Zhou parents passed away and Zhou Zhishan's poor management pushed the company to the brink of bankruptcy, he still doted on me unconditionally. He had driven away wealthy merchants who came to propose marriage to me more than once, but ultimately, he compromised. Lan, just help your brother this once. After tonight, Zhou Corporation can be revived, and you'll still be the young lady of the Zhou family. With a calm expression, I simply asked, brother, if Zhou Corporation is revived, will you be able to manage it well? The mediocre Zhou Zhishan immediately lost his composure. He slammed on the accelerator and angrily berated me in the car. Zhou Menglan, you're truly an ungrateful wretch. Our Zhou family has raised you for so many years, and now we're just asking you to contribute once. Yet you refuse. What kind of lucky star are you? I think the Zhou family's current state is all because you've brought us bad luck. Amid the furious shouting, the car suddenly crashed into the guardrail, and I blacked out on the spot. When I opened my eyes again, the 10-year-old Zhou Zhishan shot me a displeased glare. Then, under everyone's gaze, he took the hand of a frail girl and declared firmly, I choose her to be my little sister, Mr. and Mrs. Zhou. This is the girl I mentioned to you earlier. Her name is Menglan. Her parents passed away in a car accident when she was very young. This child has never given us any trouble. Not only has she consistently ranked first academically, but she's also beautiful and incredibly sensible, Mother Superior said with a face full of smiles, her eyes brimming with unconcealable pride as she spoke of me. If you adopt her, she'll definitely be obedient and won't cause you any trouble. Before she could finish speaking, Zhou Zhishan took Zhou Jiaojiao's hand and said he wanted her to be his sister. Everyone was shocked. Mother Director glanced at Zhou Jiaojiao, slightly furrowing her brows while maintaining her smile, but Menglan fits your requirements better. I instinctively grabbed the sleeve of the orphanage director, wanting her to stop persuading, but as soon as I opened my mouth, Zhou Zhishan, who was holding Zhou Jiaojiao's hand across from us, scowled and said bluntly, how does she meet our family's requirements? What I want is a pure and kind-hearted sister. Not some scheming girl who only cares about her own excellence and tramples others into worthlessness. After glaring at me with disdain, Zhou Zhishan looked up at his parents with an unhappy expression. Mom, Dad, before we came, you said I could choose whoever I liked as my sister based on first impressions. Are you going back on your word now? From the very beginning, Zhou's parents hadn't even glanced at me properly, their attention entirely focused on Zhou Zhishan. Now seeing their precious son had made his choice, they immediately broke into smiles, their eyes filled with doting affection. How could that be, Xiaoshan? Today is about choosing a sister for you, so of course we'll follow your wishes. As they spoke, their gazes slowly fell upon Zhou Jiaojiao. Seeing her look of surprise and excitement, a trace of disdain quickly flashed in their eyes. Mother Zhou seemed to recall something and asked with a smile to confirm, Xiaoshan, choosing a sister is a very important matter. Once today passes, there's no changing your mind, so, you've made up your mind to choose her, is that right? Zhou Zhishan glanced at me, resentment flashing in his eyes, and tightened his grip on Zhou Jiaojiao's hand as he affirmed, yes, I want her to be my sister, Mr. and Mrs. Zhou exchanged glances before finally looking at Mother Superior, Dean Lu. Let's proceed as Xiaoshan suggested, from now on. This girl will be a daughter of the Zhou family. Mother Dean glanced at me hesitantly and said, but, I quickly tugged at her sleeve and gave her a slight shake of my head. Seeing my reluctance, Mother Dean sighed softly and said, all right then, I'll go handle the paperwork now. Zhou Jiaojiao said excitedly to Zhou Zhishan, big brother, does that mean I'll be your little sister from now on? Zhou Zhishan looked down at her, and for some reason, a hint of tenderness flashed in his eyes. Of course, you're clean-cut and pretty. Just looking at you, I can tell you have a great personality. The most important thing is, you were born with the surname Zhou. We're family by nature. He reached out and patted Zhou Jiaojiao's head. A smile spread across her face as her gaze immediately shifted to me, full of mischief. So, big brother, if I get bullied, will you stand up for me? Zhou Zhishan's eyes followed, filled with resentment, of course. Zhou Jiaojiao found her backer and immediately pointed at me to complain, Lin Menglan bullies me all day long. Not only does she prevent the kids at the orphanage from playing with me, but she also falsely accused me of stealing. making Mother Superior punish me. Big brother, can you teach her a lesson for me? Zhou Zhishan let out a cold laugh and glared at me. As expected, you're no good. You've been acting all sweet and obedient since early morning just to trick me into bringing you home. He let go of Zhou Jiaojiao's hand and assured her, don't worry, Jiaojiao, big brother will definitely teach her a harsh lesson. Zhou Zhishan strode over and, under Zhou Jiaojiao's expectant gaze, raised his hand to strike me. Unfortunately, before he could land a hit, Mother Superior returned and loudly stopped him. What do you think you're doing? Zhou Zhishan froze for a moment, then declared righteously, she bullied my sister. I'm teaching her a lesson for Jiaojiao. Mother Superior quickly stepped forward and shielded me behind her, asserting firmly, impossible, how could Menglan possibly bully her? Zhou Jiaojiao, is it you spreading nonsense again? Zhou Jiaojiao glared at the headmistress with hatred, but instantly adopted a pitiful expression when Zhou Zhishan looked her way. I'm not talking nonsense. Zhou Zhishan, fiercely protective of his sister, stood his ground and said to the director. You're so biased towards Lin Menglan, it's obvious how much injustice Jiaojiao has suffered. If you don't let me teach her a lesson today, I'll have my parents stop funding the orphanage. Zhou's parents had always doted on their only son and naturally supported him in everything. With a hypocritical smile on her face, Zhou's mother said dismissively, Director Liu, why should we adults interfere in conflicts between children? Let them settle it themselves. The director's mother was furious. Menglan is only 6 this year, and your son is so much older than her. Aren't you clearly letting your son bully her, Mr. Zhou's expression darkened as he said, Director Liu, your words are a bit too harsh. Our Zhou family has donated so much to the orphanage. The Zhou family tried to use the donations as leverage, but the orphanage director didn't hesitate to cut him off. If Mr. Zhou regrets donating to our orphanage this year, I can return the money immediately. After all, there are plenty of large companies that donate to our orphanage every year. Father Zhou's face darkened instantly, while Mother Zhou's expression also turned grim. She didn't blame her own son but instead glared at Zhou Jiaojiao with reproach, her face clearly showing disgust. Zhou Jiaojiao turned pale with fright, all traces of smugness vanishing from her eyes. She timidly tugged at Zhou Zhishan's sleeve and stammered, Big brother. Maybe we should just drop it. Zhou Zhishan clenched his fist unwillingly. I can refrain from teaching her a lesson, but I must speak a few words to her. The headmistress frowned, eyeing him warily. Instead, I took 2 steps forward myself and stood before Zhou Zhishan. What do you want to say? Zhou Zhishan glared at me with a vicious look in his eyes, leaning close to my ear and whispering, Lin Menglan, I know you've come back too. You're nothing but a selfish, ungrateful Jinx. Utterly unworthy of being my sister. Now that you've left the Zhou family in this life, you can stay in the orphanage and keep living like a poor rat in the gutter. With a look of disgust, he stepped back, took Zhou Jiaojiao's hand, and announced loudly, Come on, Jiaojiao, big brother will take you home. Zhou Jiaojiao quickly nodded and whispered boastfully as she passed by me, Lin Menglan. So what if you and everyone else at the orphanage look down on me, from today onwards? I'm the young lady of the Zhou family, the wealthiest family, you'll never compare to me. To this, my heart remained utterly calm. After the luxurious car drove away, Mother Superior sighed heavily. How could the Zhou family take a liking to that little liar Zhou Jiaojiao? Without batting an eye, I said, there's nothing wrong with that. In my previous life, after the Zhou family's fortunes continued to decline, Mr. and Mrs. Zhou grew anxious and spent a fortune to consult a fortune teller. They asked the fortune teller to find a way to save the Zhou family. The fortune teller made some calculations and told them to adopt a girl who had just turned 6 from an orphanage. He specifically instructed that if there were too many candidates, Zhou's only son should personally make the selection. Although our orphanage wasn't particularly large, it had quite a few children. The matron carefully eliminated those whose birthdays had long passed, leaving only me and Zhou Jiaojiao. Coincidentally, Zhou Jiaojiao and I were not only born on the same day but also at nearly the same time. In my past life, Zhou Jiaojiao desperately tried to stand out, hoping Zhou Zhishan would choose her so she could enter the Zhou family and live a life of luxury. But Zhou Zhishan didn't even glance at her at the time. His eyes were fixed solely on me, immediately deciding he wanted me to be his little sister. I was only 6 years old back then, still too young to understand. Seeing Zhou Zhishan's excited and eager expression when he looked at me, I thought he genuinely wanted a sister. It wasn't until later, when the Zhou family used every excuse to control me, forbidding me from making friends or even leaving the house, that I realized what they truly wanted was just an obedient object to bring good fortune to their household. recalling the countless times I secretly helped the Zhou family overcome crises, only to be met with resentment from that useless Zhou Zhishan. A bitter smile tugged at the corner of my lips. Those who only know how to blame others without putting in any effort themselves are truly cut from the same cloth as Zhou Jiaojiao, who grew up lying habitually and stealing, then ran off with her adoptive parents' life-saving money after being taken in. Mother Superior fell silent for a moment after hearing my words. You're right, the Zhou family wasn't meant for you. If you had gone with them, they likely wouldn't have treated you well. I noticed that Zhou family's child seems quite devoted to Jiaojiao. They'll probably treat her very well. I looked up and could see the reluctance and concern in Mother Superior's eyes. Mother Superior has always been like this, even though Zhou Jiaojiao often stole from the other children and even sold her jewelry, frequently driving her to frustration. But when Zhou Jiaojiao really left, she still felt reluctant and wished for her to live well. I held her hand to comfort her. But she wiped the tears from the corner of her eye and looked at me, softly voicing the confusion she had harbored for years. Menglan, you're obedient, clever, and sensible. The orphanage's funding over these past few years has all been secured by you sweet-talking those big bosses. Every couple who's met you wanted to adopt you. Why did you wait until today to agree? I fell silent. When I was very young, both my parents died in a car accident. Our relatives were all from ordinary families, struggling just to feed their own children. They couldn't possibly take on another mouth to feed. After being sent to the orphanage, it was Mother Director who took care of me every day, providing me with food and clothing, sheltering me from the wind and rain. So once I was old enough to remember things, to prevent Mother Director from worrying about money, I proactively took her to pay New Year's visits to the local big bosses. I inherited my mother's looks, fair-skinned and pretty, and with a few well-behaved words of blessing, those bosses who liked children would immediately agree to donate money to the orphanage. It wasn't until Mother Director said that the orphanage now had enough funds to take in many homeless children that I finally stopped. Mother Director, I just think this timing is perfect, I mumbled vaguely without explaining the reason clearly. Mother Superior glanced at me, realizing I didn't want to talk about it, and didn't press further, shifting the conversation instead. There's another couple coming to adopt a child this afternoon. We'll see how it goes then. My eyes flickered slightly as I nodded in agreement. When Cheng's parents arrived, the orphanage was almost ready for dinner. Sorry we're late, Mrs. Cheng looked exhausted, but smiled warmly at the director, completely different from Mrs. Zhou's condescending fake smile. Beside her, Mr. Cheng and their eldest daughter Qingzhen also apologized first. At first glance, I took a liking to this family. Mother Superior wasn't one to fuss over such things. With a simple, "It's all right," she began showing them around the orphanage. During our earlier correspondence, you mentioned wanting to adopt a little girl. All the girls in our care are here. Feel free to see if any catch your eye. Qingzhen scanned the room, her weary gaze pausing abruptly when it landed on me, flickering with sudden brightness. Cheng's parents didn't look immediately but turned to ask Mother Director Lu. Director Lu, we'd like to ask if there's any girl in your institution who just celebrated her birthday. Mother Director was stunned and took a long moment before replying. There is indeed one. She just turned 6 yesterday. She beckoned me over, and I stepped forward, though my mind was preoccupied with thoughts. The Zhou family, the wealthiest in the country, wanted a 6-year-old girl to bring good fortune to their household. But what could this family possibly want? As I approached, Qingzhen's eyes lit up even brighter. Mr. and Mrs. Cheng sized me up, growing more pleased with what they saw, before they could say anything. The suspicious headmistress furrowed her brows and asked, "May I ask why you specifically want a girl who just had her birthday?" Mother Superior's vigilance wasn't unfounded. After all, these days you find all sorts of people, and there's no guarantee that among those seeking to adopt, there aren't any bad apples. She always had to be responsible for the children in the orphanage. I looked at the Qing family, also curious to hear their answer. When the Zhou family came in the morning, Mother Superior also asked. At that time, Mrs. Qing mentioned they had consulted a fortune teller beforehand, who said this kind of girl would be compatible with their family's birth chart, benefiting both sides. The Zhou family's assets were solid, and they even let their own children pick based on first impressions. Clearly, they were here to find a sister for Zhou Zhishan, which reassured the orphanage director. To be honest, the reason we want to adopt a child is because of our youngest daughter. She was in a car accident a few days ago and has been in a coma ever since. The hope of her waking up grows slimmer by the day. We're at our wits' end, which is why we sought advice from a master. The master told us to come here to adopt a child, saying that if the birth charts match, it might help wake my daughter up. The Qing family chose not to lie and instead explained everything clearly and honestly. The director's expression turned serious, her face showing displeasure. Mr. Cheng, Mrs. Cheng, I sympathize with your daughter's coma, and I understand you're desperate enough to believe in such feudal superstitions, but have you ever considered, what if your daughter never wakes up after you adopt a child? How would you view the adopted child then? Would you resent them, neglect them, or keep them at home out of obligation while turning a blind eye? I had never seen Mother Director so angry before. After speaking loudly and watching Mrs. Cheng's face turn pale, her tone softened. I always believed adopting a child was about choosing family beyond blood ties, not fulfilling some selfish motive. Forgive my bluntness, but I don't think you're suited to adopt a child. Mother Cheng immediately shed tears. We know this isn't right, but as parents, we really can't just watch our child lying sick in bed without doing something, Mother Lu. I wanted to say something, but Mother Superior, seeing my reaction, gave me a knowing glare that clearly threatened dire consequences if I dared leave with them. I had no choice but to silently shut my mouth. Actually, as soon as the Qing family started speaking, I remembered, they were the family that adopted Zhou Jiaojiao in my previous life. The Qing family had 2 daughters. The elder one, Qing Zhen, was 20 years old and still in college, while the younger one, Qing Yinan, was 12 and had fallen into a coma after a car accident. This situation wasn't ideal among adoptive families, but the Chengs owned a small company and were somewhat financially stable, so there was no risk of them being unable to afford raising her or mistreating her after adoption. In my previous life, Zhou Jiaojiao ignored the orphanage director's advice and insisted on going home with them for a better life. She threw tantrums and even went on a hunger strike until the director had no choice but to agree. The Qing family treated Zhou Jiaojiao well, not only buying her beautiful clothes but also sending her to the best schools. Even after several years, when Qing Yinan still hadn't woken up, the Chengs never mistreated her and treated her as their own daughter. It wasn't until Qing Zhen graduated from university and took over the company that the Qing parents called them together to discuss the future distribution of their assets. With reddened eyes, Mrs. Qing began to speak. Logically speaking, the family property should be divided equally among you 3 sisters, but you're aware of Annan's condition. She might spend her entire life bedridden. So regarding the distribution of assets, your father and I plan to allocate a larger portion to Annan. Qing Zhen felt this was only right and had no objections. Seeing her response, Zhou Jiaojiao also agreed with a smile, appearing particularly sensible, but as soon as she turned around, Zhou Jiaojiao ran off with the Qing family's money. The Qing family treated Zhou Jiaojiao as their own daughter, discussing property distribution openly in front of her without the slightest suspicion. I don't think such a family would do what Mother Superior claimed. Instead, I find them rather pitiful. Seeing Mother Superior's disapproval, Qing Zhen's eyes darkened momentarily, but she quickly regained her composure. Dean Lu, if you're really not at ease, we can skip the adoption procedures for now and let this girl be my parents' goddaughter. Upon hearing this, Mother Qing immediately nodded. Yes, that works too. Father Qing wiped the tears from Mother Cheng's face with a tissue and said earnestly, Dean Lu, your concern is valid, but this is the only path we have left now. If there's even the slightest hope of waking our little daughter, we must try it. Rest assured, our Qing family isn't the type to burn bridges after crossing them. If you and this girl agree to today's matter, we'll donate to the orphanage every year from now on. Additionally, starting today, this daughter will receive the same living standards as our biological daughter. We'll not only send her to the best schools but also give her 1 million yuan as gratitude upon her college graduation. I know words alone aren't binding. As soon as you agree, I'll have someone draft a contract immediately. Father Cheng made his point so clear that Mother Superior fell silent upon hearing the benefits I could gain. After struggling for a moment, she finally turned to leave the decision to me. Menglan, you've always been decisive. Today, whether to accept this or not is entirely up to you. The Qing family's gazes all turned toward me. Looking up at them, I didn't hesitate much before opening my mouth to speak. Godfather, godmother, elder sister. Mother Cheng was taken aback for a moment, then quickly reacted, nodding excitedly in response. Father Cheng also showed obvious delight on his face. Qing Zhen smiled happily and took out a thick red envelope from her bag to hand over. It's our first meeting, and I didn't prepare anything special. This is just a small token of greeting. Please take it. I'll make it up to you with a proper gift once we get home. Not standing on ceremony, I smiled and said, Thank you, elder sister. As I reached out to accept the red envelope, the envelope felt thick in my hand. it must have contained at least 5,000 yuan. I was slightly surprised, and Mother Superior was equally shocked. Her attitude softened. After keeping the Qing family for dinner, she relented and allowed an experienced female teacher from the institution to accompany me for a short stay at the Qing residence. Mr. and Mrs. Qing happily went to get the car, while Qingzhen took the initiative to hold my hand and lead me outside. The Qing family lived in the villa district of the city. Carrying a water bottle, I got out of the car, and the Qings warmly ushered me and the female teacher inside. "Your room is ready, it's on the second floor." Time was tight, so it's still in the old style. If you don't like it, we can have someone come another day to redecorate it according to your preferences. Qingzhen pushed open the door and said to me with a smile, looking at the simply decorated room, "I actually quite like this style. After all, I was reborn and not truly just 6 years old." After settling in, Qingzhen, who had been cheerful since we entered, suddenly looked at me hesitantly, his eyes filled with conflict. I asked her directly, "Big sister, is there something you want to say to me?" Qingzhen hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Menglan, can you accompany me to the hospital tomorrow to see your second sister? That master said before, once we find the right person, we must bring them to Annan's presence. It will be good for her." I smiled until my eyes crinkled. "Of course, I'll definitely get up early tomorrow to see second sister." The Qing family members all have good temperaments. Moreover, when they first approached me and promised so many benefits, their sole purpose was to wake Qing'anan. Since I've accepted their offerings, I'll naturally cooperate fully as needed. Qing'anan's condition isn't very good, having lain in the hospital bed for many consecutive days. She's grown increasingly thin, and her complexion is extremely pale. I had just followed the Qing family inside when I saw Mrs. Qing standing by the hospital bed, starting to cry. "Annan, please wake up, okay? Everyone in the family has come to see you." Even Mr. Qing, a grown man, had reddened eyes upon hearing this. He reached out to pull Mrs. Qing into his arms and comforted her softly. Holding Qingzhen's hand, I stepped forward and tentatively touched Qing'anan's hand. Finding it very cold, I gently placed it back under the blanket. The atmosphere in the hospital room was too oppressive, and I wanted to lighten the mood, so I took the initiative to speak. "Godfather, godmother, I'm on vacation now and will come to stay with second sister every day before school starts." Mother Qing nodded with relief and joy, wiping away her tears as she sat by the bed, chattering like any ordinary mother would, sharing recent amusing stories with Qing'anan. Watching Mother Qing suppress her grief, I felt a pang of discomfort in my heart. In my previous life, until she was dragged to her death by that idiot Zhou Zhishan, Qing'anan never woke up. Watching their child lie in a hospital bed day after day was undoubtedly torture for the Qing family. I need to figure out a way to wake Qing'anan up. From then on, I visited Qing'anan at the hospital every day. Most of the time, the Qing family would take me there, but on the rare occasions when they were busy with their own affairs, I would have the family driver and tutor bring me instead. About half a month later, I was clumsily wiping Qing'anan's hands with a warm towel, worrying about what to do if she never woke up, when suddenly her pale fingers twitched. Startled, I quickly looked toward the bed, just in time to meet Qing'anan's open eyes. "Sec, second sister, you're awake." Qing'anan managed a weak in response, and I hurriedly asked the teacher to call her family in excitement. Within 20 minutes, they rushed over swiftly, seeing Qing'anan truly awake. The group immediately burst into tears and hugged each other tightly. After calling the doctor to examine Qing'anan and confirming there were no issues, Cheng's mother suddenly grabbed me in a tight embrace and planted several kisses on my face. "Menglan, you're truly our little lucky star." Father Cheng also excitedly ruffled my hair. An adult lived inside me, feeling extremely awkward, but seeing them so happy, I ultimately didn't push him away. Qing'anan had been watching me the whole time. I turned my head and met her gaze, and the Qing family quickly introduced me to her. "Anan, this is your younger sister, Menglan." Qing'anan smiled and said, "I know, I could hear you talking the whole time I was unconscious." She took my hand, revealing a set of pearly white teeth with her smile. "Thank you, little sister, for coming to keep me company these past few days and telling me stories to pass the time. I know most unconscious people remain aware." Recalling how Qing'anan lay on the hospital bed for years in her previous life, only able to feel the despair of her life slipping away with her eyes closed, that's why I told her various stories every day, hoping to make her feel better. I never expected Qing'anan to wake up so soon. Remembering the doctor's advice that Qing'anan's body still needed some time to recuperate in the hospital, I immediately spoke up. "If second sister likes it, I'll keep coming to tell you stories for the next while." To celebrate Qing'an and waking up, Mom and Dad Qing generously gave each of us three sisters a red envelope containing 66,000 yuan. Dad Qing even personally cooked a table full of delicious dishes. After the holiday ended, I went to attend City No. 1 primary school, where I unsurprisingly ran into Zhou Jiaojiao and Zhou Zhishan. Zhou Zhishan was holding Zhou Jiaojiao's pink backpack and personally escorted her into the classroom. "Jiaojiao, you're the apple of our Zhou family's eye. Don't push yourself too hard. Learn these things if you want to, and don't if you don't. As long as you're not bullied at school, that's all that matters." Zhou Zhishan kept repeating his reminders, while Zhou Jiaojiao pouted and shook his arm. "I know, big brother, you've said it so many times already. Don't worry. I'm your sister after all. No one would dare bully me." As soon as she finished speaking, she saw me, and her expression changed slightly. Zhou Zhishan followed her gaze and was also surprised. He strode over and immediately mocked. "What's the matter? Did you get too used to being pampered by us in your past life and can't adjust to studying in this poor countryside?" I was just about to retort when suddenly a familiar female voice came from behind me. "Who are you? Stay away from my little sister." Second sister Qing'an coldly warned Zhou Zhishan, unable to save face. Zhou Zhishan looked us up and down disdainfully, saying, "Really, anyone can come to school these days." Qing'an had a gentle and beautiful face, but her words were sharp as knives. "What a joke, if someone like you, who's always at the bottom dragging everyone down, can buy your way in. Why shouldn't we top students be here?" Zhou Zhishan hated being looked down upon the most, and his face instantly turned green with anger. "You?" Qing'an snapped impatiently. "What, you? Tell me. Which part of what I said isn't true?" Her gaze swept across the classroom before her, and she let out a mocking laugh. Zhou Daxiao went straight into the first-year class first thing in the morning. Anyone who didn't know better would think he realized his brain wasn't working right and decided to start over. I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing. Zhou Zhishan looked at me, his face completely darkening, blinded by rage. He didn't even care about Zhou Jiaojiao behind him anymore. Turning around and striding away, Zhou Jiaojiao in the class wasn't looking at him at all at this moment. She was staring at Qing'an with a pale face, her eyes wide as if she'd seen a ghost. My eyes flickered slightly, and the conjecture in my heart seemed to be confirmed at this moment. In this lifetime, I hadn't done anything, yet Qing'an woke up, but in the previous life, Qing'an had lain in that hospital bed for so many years. Judging by Zhou Jiaojiao's guilty and fearful demeanor right now, there's an 80% chance she's coveting the Qing family's wealth and doesn't want Qing'an to wake up. "Little sis, just focus on your classes. If anyone bullies you, come find me. Your second sister will definitely stand up for you. Oh, and don't leave right after school. Mom said she's taking us shopping for clothes tonight. Wait for me for a few minutes." Qing'an didn't notice anything amiss as she patted my shoulder with these reminders. After Qing'an woke up, Mr. and Mrs. Qing, fearing I might overthink, quickly went back to the orphanage to complete the adoption procedures. They said their family genuinely liked me and wanted me to be part of their family, not just as a nominal relative. I agreed, and this time, Mother Superior didn't stop them. "So now, Qing'an is my biological second sister." I nodded in agreement. After second sister left, I stepped into the classroom. As I passed by Zhou Jiaojiao, I smiled and asked her, "Why have you been staring at my second sister? Your reaction seems a bit odd too." Zhou Jiaojiao gave a sudden shiver, then feigned composure as she retorted, "When did I look at her? I was just thinking about something." Plagued by guilt, Zhou Jiaojiao kept her distance from me, not daring to pick on me as she used to. I happily enjoyed the peace, spending my days studying and returning home to bask in my family's doting affection, while secretly tapping away on my computer in my room at night. Time flew by until the high school entrance exams, where I came in first and Zhou Jiaojiao second. She glared at me fiercely with her exam results in hand, carefully explaining herself, afraid that Zhou Zhishan would think her stupid. "Big brother, don't worry. I'll definitely do better next time. I won't embarrass you," she kept talking to herself, completely oblivious to Zhou Zhishan's increasingly grim expression. "When we get home, I'll have the butler find me a tutor. I promise my grades will improve next time and..." "Study what, Zhou Jiaojiao? You're just an adopted daughter of the Zhou family, not blood-related. Are you studying so much because you plan to compete with me for the Zhou family's assets?" Zhou Zhishan couldn't bear it any longer as he spoke, his hands hanging by his sides clenched tightly, his expression grim. Zhou Jiaojiao was completely stunned, and it took her a long while to find her voice, stammering, "Big brother, what are you talking about?" Zhou Zhishan also realized he had overreacted. Without saying another word, he walked past Zhou Jiaojiao and left alone. Zhou Jiaojiao stood desolately in place holding her report card, staring at Zhou Zhishan's retreating figure, as resentment and dissatisfaction gradually welled up in her eyes. She muttered to herself. "It was you who said you'd spoil me and treat me like family." As she spoke, she turned her head and saw my second sister smiling while praising my intelligence, even promising to prepare rewards for me at home. Turning green with envy, I pretended not to notice, letting my second sister lead me away by the hand. Zhou Zhishan was mediocre in ability and always envious of intelligent people. This was something I recognized early in my previous life. Ever since Zhou Zhishan began envying other families' outstanding children, I started hiding my intelligence. Not only did I perform poorly in exams, but I would also feign distress afterward. I could clearly sense that the worse I performed, the better Zhou Zhishan treated me, so I kept up the act for over a decade. Zhou Jiaojiao acted solely based on her own happiness, never bothering to read the room, so she never noticed, and even blatantly stepped on Zhou Zhishan's biggest pet peeve. I hope she learns to be smarter after this. I happily followed my second sister home, received Auntie Cheng's face-washing style kisses, and unwrapped a few small gifts. It wasn't even my birthday, just because I got first place in exams, yet Uncle Cheng bought me a small cake. These intense feelings of happiness are something I never experienced in my previous life with the Zhou family. I cherish them deeply and hope our whole family can continue to grow happier. 12 years passed in the blink of an eye. On the day of my college entrance exam graduation, Dad Cheng, Mom Cheng, second sister, and even eldest sister, who had been too busy to catch her breath after taking over the company, all came to pick me up. Originally, Mother Director was also planning to come, but the orphanage had taken in more children this year and was busy with expansion work. She couldn't get away, so she recorded a congratulatory video for me and even had someone deliver flowers. Surrounded by the group, second sister, still wearing her travel clothes and sunglasses, hadn't even had time to change. She threw an arm around me, grinning brightly. "Let's go, the restaurant's already booked. We're definitely celebrating big today. By the way, didn't you always want to travel north? Let's leave tomorrow." I nodded eagerly, then suddenly spotted Zhou Jiaojiao and Zhou Zhishan in the crowd. Zhou Jiaojiao hung her head silently, while Zhou Zhishan was fuming with anger, venting his rage at her. "What use are you? You're nothing but a jinx. If it weren't for your pretty face that could help secure the family's interests through marriage, Mom, Dad, and I would have kicked you out long ago. Hurry home and change your clothes, then come meet Mr. Wang from the west side of town." Zhou Jiaojiao, who had been silent all along, suddenly shouted loudly. "I won't go, that so-called Mr. Wang has been divorced 3 times already. There's no way I'm marrying him." Zhou Zhishan slapped her across the face, his eyes bloodshot as he roared. "The Zhou family has fed and clothed you for over a decade. Did you think we raised you for free?" Zhou Zhishan forcibly dragged her away, his peripheral glance catching sight of me before he flinched and awkwardly averted his gaze. In recent years, the Zhou family has been on a steady decline, now teetering on the brink of bankruptcy, several years earlier than their downfall in my previous life. Meanwhile, under my eldest sister's management, the Qing family has soared to even greater heights, leaving the Zhous far behind long ago. Now, Zhou Zhishan no longer has the arrogance he once displayed when facing me. I had dinner with my family, and when I went home in the evening to pack for my trip, my second sister suddenly came over. She swiped her phone and showed it to me. Looking gleeful, big gossip, Zhou Jiaojiao from the Zhou family refused the arranged marriage, secretly sold some of the Zhou family's antique jewelry, and ran away with the money. Now the Zhou family is in complete chaos. I never explicitly stated my issues with Zhou Jiaojiao and Zhou Zhishan, but second sister figured it out on her own. She always keeps an eye on the Zhou family's affairs and shares any amusing gossip with me whenever she finds something. I smiled helplessly and glanced at it a few times, feeling unsurprised deep down. The Zhou family is hypocritical, always speaking sweet words while ostracizing their adopted children. Zhou Jiaojiao isn't actually foolish. Why would she marry a man who's been divorced multiple times, all for the sake of the Zhou family? Given Zhou's current situation, I'm afraid bankruptcy liquidation is just days away. My mind was completely at peace, after enjoying the spectacle. I urged second sister to go back to her room and sleep. "Go to bed quickly, we have an early flight tomorrow morning." Ching'an reluctantly got up, squeezing out tears to accuse me, use me and throw me away. "Am I still your sister?" Watching her act, I rolled my eyes and chuckled. "If I weren't your sister, I would have told Mom, Dad, and our eldest sister the moment I found out you were secretly dating our arch-rival. She immediately dropped the act and panicked. Ouch. They must never find out about this. You absolutely have to keep it a secret for me. I'm going to bed right now. She slipped away too quickly. I didn't even have time to ask for details. Early the next morning, as we were dragging our suitcases out the door and about to have the driver take us to the airport, Zhou Zishan suddenly darted out from a corner. Lon, you're the only one who can save the Zhou family now. Will you help me? I refused without hesitation. No. Zhou Zishan froze, his face twisting the next second. You didn't even think about it. Don't you think you're being too heartless? I scoffed. Heartless? When you left me in the orphanage to live as a poor mouse forever, didn't you think you were cruel? He instinctively wanted to defend himself, but I had already lost patience. I can't possibly help you. If you don't leave now, I'll have my eldest sister cause some trouble for Zhou Corporation to speed up your bankruptcy. Zhou Zishan froze in place, staring at me as if I were a stranger. My second sister couldn't bear to watch any longer and gave him a shove. What are you looking at? Get lost. If you really don't want Zhou Corporation to go bankrupt, then marry yourself off. With that face of yours, you might just buy Zhou Corporation some more time. Second sister's sharp-tongued humiliation turned Zhou Zishan's face green with anger. I didn't look at him again, pulling second sister straight into the car. Just kidding. I helped the Zhou family a lot in my past life, allowing Zhou Zishan to enjoy several more years as a wealthy young master. I don't owe them anything at all, so why should I help? In this life, I just want to enjoy the love of my parents and family and live my own good life. As for Zhou Zishan, even if the Zhou family goes bankrupt and ends up begging on the streets in the future, it has nothing to do with me. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My boyfriend brought home a stray cat for me to adopt, but it ended up costing me my life. It wasn't until after my death that I discovered my illegitimate half-sister had long been involved with my boyfriend. She somehow learned the ability to transform into a cat and stole all my plans in feline form, ultimately poisoning me to death. After death, I became a wandering spirit, watching helplessly as my boyfriend embraced my half-sister, now human again, by my grave, confessing their entire scheme. Filled with resentment, I rushed forward seeking revenge, only to pass right through their bodies. Hatred kept growing inside me, tears of blood streaming down my face as I questioned the heavens for their injustice. Suddenly, an overwhelming force pulled at me, and I lost consciousness. When I opened my eyes again, my boyfriend was standing before me, gently stroking a cat in his arms, smiling as he asked, "Wan, should we adopt this little kitten?" Before I could react, Su Jingming directly placed the cat into my arms. It wasn't until a sharp pain shot through my wrist that the calico cat in my arms looked at the bloodstain on my wrist and licked its paw. Instinctively, I threw the cat away, only then realizing that I had been reborn. "What are you doing? It just scratched you a little. You didn't have to throw the kitten away." Su Jingming's words faltered for a moment as he picked up the cat with concern to examine it. The cat kept meowing incessantly, occasionally hissing at me between cries. My gaze turned icy cold. Just like in my past life, this cat, which harbored the soul of an illegitimate daughter, had scratched me the first time we met. I had thought the kitten was merely stressed, never imagining it was actually a person with ulterior motives sent to harm me. Su Jingming, you're not concerned about your scratched girlfriend but care about a cat. She doesn't like me, so you should take her away. I deliberately turned my head away, pretending to be angry, leaving both Su Jingming and the cat stunned. I'm usually generous and love animals, never getting upset over such things. The cat immediately softened its meows, and Su Jingming gave an awkward chuckle. "Oh dear, how could I not care about you? The kitten was just stressed." With that, he carefully placed the cat on the ground and made an excuse to leave. "Wan, you get along well with her. I'll come see you both tomorrow." I didn't stop him, just picked up my phone and booked a neutering package. In my previous life, it wasn't until after my death that I discovered my dear sister Qing Qian could transform into a cat for 12 hours a day, her body literally becoming that of a cat, but I was so busy with corporate power struggles that, under Su Jingming's occasional pretense of taking the cat to his place, I never noticed. My plans were stolen, my core strategies leaked to competitors in advance, and even the boyfriend I thought loved me wanted to break up over my alleged animal abuse. In the end, I lost my company, my lover, and then, due to unknown drugs, became a vegetable, only to have someone barge into my hospital room and take the photos that would plunge me into the abyss. who would suspect a cat? It wasn't until after death that I saw the true faces of both my spouse and beloved pet, but now things are different. Watching Qingqian feign obedience on the floor, I smile and take out the cat carrier to place her inside. Qingqian knows I'm obsessive about cleanliness and thinks I'm taking her for a bath. It wasn't until she was on the operating table, hearing the doctor explain the precautions to me, that she finally realized I had actually brought her here to be sterilized. But this was her body. Qingqian struggled violently, letting out continuous, piercing cries. I was in the next room getting in for, unable to hold back my tears. "It's okay, this is for the cat's own good," the nurse, seeing my reddened eyes, thought I was worried about the kitten and was on the verge of tears out of sympathy. I nodded at her, then lowered my head, unable to suppress a wide grin. So exciting, this is just the first step of my revenge. If Su Jingming found out, would he thank me for eliminating the possibility of the woman he loves carrying another man's child? Although in the end, in his previous life, he claimed to love me while secretly feeding me sterilizing drugs, even before my death. He indulged Qingqian in summoning several men to humiliate me and take photos, all just to solidify her position. The surgery had already begun, and Qingqian's screams had faded away at some point. I opened my phone, took a photo of the operating room, and sent it to Su Jingming's chat window. "Jingming, I've decided to keep that cat, taking it for neutering now." Putting down my phone, I turned on silent mode, yet it felt like I could hear the sound of this young couple's hearts breaking. Su Jingming from the other end of the call bombarded me with countless calls. It wasn't until Qingqian, with her tongue lolling from anesthesia, was wheeled out that I finally answered his call. "Where are you right now? You can't neuter her, you mustn't neuter her." Chen Jingming's tone was frantic with urgency. He knew exactly what sterilization meant to Qingqian, and couldn't sit still for a second after seeing my message, while bombarding me with calls and messages. He drove around town inquiring at every pet store, but it was too late. I raised my phone to video call him, pointing the camera at Qingqian's cat form lying on the pee pad, my voice laced with confusion. "Why though? Neutering is better for the cat, and the surgery is already done." The call was suddenly hung up by the other party, and I leisurely put my phone back into my bag. But Su Jingming couldn't help but shout in the car, slamming the steering wheel hard, causing the horn to blare loudly. This was just the first step. As I looked at the unconscious Qingqian, the hatred in my heart grew even stronger. She was the product of her father's affair, brought into the household while her mother's body was still warm, along with her sanctimonious mother. I didn't want to take it out on the child, so I kicked her mother out but treated her decently. But they were greedy. My father was a live-in son-in-law, and the company should have been returned to me when I came of age. He kept delaying, but fate was unkind. He dragged it out until he got cancer, so Qingqian stepped up, attempting to compete with me for power. In my previous life, who could have imagined that a living person would turn into a cat? But now I know, and I'll make them repay those debts. Bit by bit, I didn't stop Su Jingming from crying hysterically at the cat, nor did I glance his way as I carried Qingqian back to my own home. Instead, they obtained this surveillance footage and bought marketing accounts to post it online the very next day. The caption read, "The second young master of the Su family suspected of breaking up with the eldest daughter of the Qing family. Love ends at a pet store." Su Jingming didn't even have time to comfort Qingqian, who was smashing things frantically at home, before rushing over to calm me down. The Su and Qing families have intricate business ties, and the Qing family has more than just him as their son. If it weren't for me, he wouldn't have had a chance at becoming the Su family heir. Wan, I was just too emotional that day. I read that spaying female cats might be bad for their health. Please don't be mad. Su Jingming held out a bouquet of 99 red roses, offering a pale excuse. I smiled as I took the flowers without a word, but he mistook my silence for forgiveness and immediately fetched Qingqian's carrier from the trunk, his face full of ingratiation. "I brought the kitten. Didn't you say you were willing to take care of her? From now on, we'll look after her together." I raised an eyebrow and smiled. "Sure, bring her in. It'll be nice for her to have Xiao Hu as company." "What Xiao Hu?" Su Jingming voiced his doubt, but his face instantly turned pale upon seeing Xiao Hu. A large Maine Coon was lazily sprawled on the sofa, its eyes fixed intently on Qingqian inside the cat carrier. Qingqian, who had originally agreed with Su Jingming not to give themselves away, arched her entire body and kept making noises upon seeing a fellow feline, twice her size. Seems like Xiao Hu really likes this calico. No wonder she's the great beauty among cats. I smiled, took the cat carrier from Su Jingming's hands, and opened the door. Su Jingming's hand instinctively flinched for a moment, but then remembering the plan with Qing Qian, he finally handed over the carrier willingly. Xiao Hu jumped down from the sofa. This was a stud I had specifically borrowed from a friend's house, young, vigorous, and combative, but Qing Qian didn't realize this and kept blowing air relentlessly, completely provoking Xiao Hu. Originally, Xiao Hu had some goodwill toward her, but now it triggered his combat mode. Right now, I'm at a critical juncture in my power struggle. The success or failure of these two projects in my hands will be decisive. Qing Qian's return this time is just like in her previous life, with the same intentions, knowing my password as a kitten, then transforming into human form to steal all my plans and core secrets. For the first project, she released the proposal ahead of me, turning me into the notorious plagiarist and losing public trust. I tried to recover, striving to snatch the second project from our competitor, but Qing Qian, prioritizing power over company interests, leaked crucial secrets to the rival at the critical moment. The company suffered heavy losses, and I was forced to withdraw, ultimately meeting a tragic end. But this time, it won't be so easy. Watching Qing Qian getting beaten up by Xiao Hu and Su Jingming's heartbroken expression, I won't let either of them off. Su Jingming glanced at Qing Qian one last time before reluctantly leaving. Originally, according to the plan, Qing Qian should have tried every means to see my password. But because of Xiao Hu, she never dared to. At this point, Qing Qian was also full of hatred toward me. On the day of sterilization, after she turned human, she immediately went to check her reproductive function accompanied by Su Jingming. Even the doctor was shocked by her condition. She could never hope to have her own child in this lifetime. Finally, after overcoming her psychological pressure, she avoided Xiao Hu and came to the study. Suppressing her disgust, she acted like a real cat, coquettishly jumping onto my lap. After seeing me deliberately log out and re-enter the password, she immediately left again. Before leaving, she glanced at me with her current cat eyes, full of smugness, but I also smiled after she left and made a phone call. Hey, young Master Su, I'd like to discuss a collaboration with you. For no apparent reason, after Qing Qian jumped onto my lap, I heard her voice from when she was human. That bitch caused me so much suffering. Just wait until I steal all her luck and transfer Su Jingha's fortune to Jingming. Let's see how she gloats then. This must be Qing Qian's inner voice. Having experienced rebirth, I quickly accepted this possibility and immediately contacted another person mentioned in her inner voice, the eldest son of the Su family, Su Jingha. I experimented a few more times and discovered that whenever I had physical contact with Qing Qian beyond just touching paws, I could hear her inner thoughts. It was only then that I learned Qing Qian wasn't just my younger sister, but also a mission-bound system user. Her mission was to seize the luck of the chosen ones in exchange for what she desired, and Su Jingha and I were precisely her targets. Su Jingha and I were originally just acquaintances who nodded in passing. In our previous lives, he was involved in a car accident not long after I started dating Su Jingming, which left him paralyzed from the waist down and gradually led him to seclude himself in the mountains. Now, sitting at the same table with him, we both inexplicably felt that the other knew something we did. Pleasure working with you, pleasure working with you. I shook hands with Su Jingha, and upon returning home, I discovered that my computer had indeed been tampered with. My phone also received a message from Su Jingming, saying he had taken the cat, Qing Qian, to stay at his place for a few days. The fish has taken the bait. I sent Su Jingha a text message, not long after, during the first project presentation. As soon as I opened my PowerPoint, Qing Qian, now in human form, suddenly exclaimed loudly, "Sis, your proposal, how is it exactly the same as mine?" Everyone was shocked. Qing Qian immediately opened her own PowerPoint, and sure enough, it was almost identical to mine. "Sis, I worked really hard on this proposal. I don't know how you got hold of this content, but," Qing Qian left her words hanging, sparking endless speculation. A faint murmur began to ripple through the meeting room as one of the company's veterans lowered his voice and turned his gaze toward me. "What do you have to say?" I spread my hands and countered Qing Qian. "How can you prove it was me copying you, and not the other way around?" Qing Qian anticipated I would say this and, choking back tears, made a phone call. A familiar voice came through the phone, and Qing Qian seemed to have made up her mind as she slowly spoke. "Brother Jingming, do you remember the proposal draft you guided me through last time? Could you tell me about the outline you prepared for me?" Su Jingming's voice came from the other end as he recounted the PPT outline and then patiently asked her what was wrong. The expressions of everyone in the meeting room changed. The person on the other end of the call was Su Jingming, my boyfriend. The call ended. and Qing Qian looked at me, her eyes flashing with determination. This proposal was jointly prepared by brother Jingming and me. He's your boyfriend, sister, and originally helped me out of respect for you, but who would have thought you'd actually. The senior executive seated at the head of the table also frowned. They had intended to side with me. But the current situation made it hard not to harbor doubts. Suddenly, there was a knock at the meeting room door, and I smiled at Qing Qian. The door was pushed open, and the sound of wheelchair wheels rolling broke the silence in the conference room. Did I come at a bad time? No, you came at just the right moment. I stepped forward to push Su Jingha's wheelchair and pointed at the proposal on the display screen. Ah, our proposal has become someone else's. The meeting room erupted instantly, and Qing Qian's face drained of color, her fingers clutching her skirt tightly. Although Su Jingha hadn't made an appearance for a long time after the incident, he was once a legend among the younger generation. He had always been the child of other families, praised by the older generation. After the incident, even the Su family's longtime competitors lamented that the gods envy the talented, compared to Su Jingming, who entered the scene halfway. Everyone clearly had more faith in Su Jingha. Moreover, my capabilities are evident to everyone present, while Qing Qian is just an illegitimate daughter. At this point, all scrutinizing gazes converged on Qing Qian. I didn't give Qing Qian a chance to explain, suddenly turning to her with a clear voice. By the way, the proposal mentioned that plot of land in City A. Since a municipal park is planned for the east side and that amusement park will be relocated, then, I paused. My gaze firmly locked onto Qing Qian's flustered eyes. You also mentioned the family-oriented commercial complex planned beside the park, which 3 local family brands should be prioritized for introduction. This is a core supplementary item I specifically added. The main body of the proposal only mentioned introducing high-quality local brands without listing specific names, but given the level of detail in the proposal, the writer couldn't possibly have been unaware. Yet how could Qing Qian know? She merely copied my template verbatim and familiarized herself with the existing content. Originally, they thought Su Jingming's corroboration and preemptive strike would ensure my downfall in one decisive blow, but who would have thought that Su Jingha would suddenly appear halfway, and I even asked her about something she had no knowledge of. Qing Qian's face instantly turned from deathly pale to ashen. Her fingers twisting the hem of her skirt with even greater force, her knuckles turning white, she opened her mouth, her eyes instinctively darting toward the door, and could only mumble evasively, I remember they were a few with good reputations. The specific names, brother Jingming mentioned them when he was organizing the materials, but I didn't pay much attention to the details, since they were just supplementary items. Didn't remember the details, I chuckled lightly. Turning to look at Su Jingha, when we met with Director Wang from the Planning Bureau last week, he praised the brands we chose for being down-to-earth. Do you still remember which 3 they were? Su Jingha tapped his fingers lightly on the wheelchair armrest, the sound crisp and steady, words not included in the proposal spread clearly through the quiet meeting room, one syllable at a time. What else do you have to say for yourself? A senior executive suddenly slammed the table. Startling Qing Qian, I pulled out the hard drive and smiled at everyone in the meeting room. Sorry, I'll leave it to my dear sister to handle today's presentation. Right now, I might need to figure out why my boyfriend claimed he worked on this withdrawn proposal with her. With that, I pushed Su Jingha out of the room. The next day, ignoring Su Jingming's frantic apologies at my doorstep, I posted a breakup announcement. I deliberately leaked information, hinting both overtly and covertly that we were determined to secure the second project, setting a trap for them to walk into. Sure enough, it wasn't long before Qing Qian's cat form hurriedly ran back to my doorstep, meowing pitifully to be let inside. I picked her up, her inner voice continuously cursing me, Su Jingha, and the system that had somehow gone silent. I went along with her wishes, carried her to the desk, and opened the so-called new confidential file. Once I secure this project, I'll crush this bitch under my feet. Qing Qian's inner voice cursed me viciously, though her kitten form remained soft and adorable. I patted her head, placed her on the desk, and pretended to answer a phone call as I reached the door, saying I needed to step out for a while. Actually, sitting in a coffee shop not far from home, I watched the surveillance footage on my phone, waiting for their move. It was truly magical. I saw the tiny kitten in the monitor suddenly shed its fur, its body growing larger, transforming into Qing Qian's naked form. She swiftly stole something from the computer and, surprisingly familiar with the place, retrieved a small communication device from the corner behind the living room sofa. She spoke something into the communicator, and before long, Su Jingming arrived with clothes, but the two of them actually did it right in my living room. The clothes I brought weren't used at all. I slammed my phone down with a bang. My face burning red. Damn it, that was the carpet I had shipped all the way from abroad. Disgusted, I saved those videos, watching the two of them being all lovey-dovey, waiting for them to deliver the core secrets to the rival. But then something unexpected happened. The video from the pet store on the day of the neutering somehow got hyped up on the trending list again, and this time, Su Jingming, whom I had publicly announced breaking up with, stepped forward. He reposted that video, claiming the reason I wanted to break up with him was because I couldn't stand him stopping me from abusing cats. What a huge accusation thrown at me, but netizens couldn't tell the truth from lies. But in the video, I appeared indifferent while Su Jingming was holding the cat excitedly, along with the 1,000-word essay he posted. Driven by those with ulterior motives, the Qing family's stock price kept falling, and I also received warnings from the higher-ups. Qing Qian's cat form kept circling around me, watching my expressionless face as I looked at my phone, her tail held high, clearly in a very good mood. These days, Qing Qian was forced to stay by my side. Her systems suddenly disappeared, and she temporarily lost the ability to turn back into a human, leaving all the plans to Su Jingming. I ignored it and mixed some breeding medication into her food. It's the final moment. I'll deal with them one by one. Shortly after eating, Qing Qian unconsciously started raising her tail, and her voice grew increasingly soft. I picked her up, stuffed her into the cat carrier, and took her to the home of the friend who had given me Xiao Hu. When I bumped into Qing Qian, I could hear her inner thoughts constantly questioning, "It's so hot. Why is it this hot?" By the time we arrived at the cat cafe run by my friend's family, she no longer had the energy to dwell on these thoughts, completely succumbing to her physical desires. Even Xiao Hu, my friend's stud cat, got excited and carried Qing Qian by the scruff of her neck back to his nest. I recorded a video yesterday and sent it to Su Jingming, who is still guiding public opinion online. "Aren't you absolutely obsessed with this little kitten? Look at her, how happy she is playing now. How can you say I'm mistreating her?" Su Jingming's eyes turned red as he watched on his phone. He rushed to the cat cafe in a panic and started yelling at me, pointing at my nose. "How could you? Why can't I?" Crossing my arms, I raised an eyebrow. Su Jingming's mouth opened and closed, but he couldn't say anything. In the end, he could only leave resentfully, holding Qing Qian, the most favored among the group of kittens. Perhaps out of retaliation, the online backlash doubled soon after. I didn't step forward to explain, and in the public's eyes, I had already become an unforgivable cat abuser. Su Jinghe praised me for my patience. But only we knew the real reason why I never fought back. Finally, it was time for the second project bid. As soon as I sat down, I saw Su Jingming chatting and laughing with the rival team as they entered the meeting room. Everyone's eyes were on me, openly or subtly, while the rival team's gaze was full of disdain, as if victory was already in their hands today. I noticed Su Jingming carrying a rather large briefcase, bulging and occasionally moving slightly. How deep her affection is, I mean Qing Qian's feelings for me. Even in the desperate situation of being unable to turn back into a human, she still took such a risky approach to witness my failure. As the bidding began, it was clear that our competitors were fully aware of the content I proposed and had obviously done their homework. Su Jingming sat in his seat, staring at me with a sinister gaze the entire time. He hasn't been doing well during this period either, dealing with both the breakup and the sudden power struggle initiated by his brother Su Jinghe. Already lacking a consolidated position, he now finds himself in an even more difficult situation. Let's see how long you can keep smiling. Now Su Jingming isn't even pretending anymore. Mouthing these words to me silently, I tilted my head slightly, effortlessly handling the veiled attacks from the opposing side. Only after the opposing party's representative finished spouting his last line, "Costs can be controlled within 120 million, did I leisurely raise the tablet in my hand. Projected onto the conference room screen were unmistakably the audio files of private dealings between the opposing party and Su Jingming, along with Qing Qian's chat logs, sent from my computer, containing confidential information she thought had been deleted. 120 million, I chuckled lightly, my fingers swiping across the screen to switch pages, but the quote you negotiated with the building materials supplier last week was clearly 80 million. The room erupted in uproar. The opposing party's representative turned pale instantly, pointing at me but unable to speak. Su Jingming abruptly stood up, and Qing Qian inside the briefcase seemed flustered too, emitting faint scratching sounds. I delighted in seeing their faces darken completely. The opposing party pointed at me, stammering, you, several times before turning to glare fiercely at Su Jingming. The bidding continued, but what followed was that all those so-called core secrets stolen from me were actually decoys I had prepared long ago. Effortlessly, I emerged victorious. Su Jingming slumped limply into his chair, staring at me with reddened eyes, lost in thought. While the lump of Qingqian in the briefcase remained motionless, the crowd gradually dispersed. And by the end, only the two of us and a cat remained in the conference room. Su Jingming was just about to leave with his briefcase when I reached out to stop him. "What's in that bag of yours that's moving around?" Su Jingming hugged the bag tightly, saying it was nothing as he tried to sidestep away, but I blocked his path again. "Wait a moment, with your beloved Qingqian." As soon as I spoke, Su Jingming froze completely. What do you mean?" I smiled and pointed at the briefcase in his arms. "Aren't you coming out yet, my dear little sister?" Before they could react, the conference room door suddenly swung open. Su Jinghe pushed the wheelchair, holding a peculiarly shaped computer as he slowly entered. Did I come at a bad time again? Every time I arrive, the atmosphere is always so tense. I couldn't be bothered to banter with him. Under Su Jingming's horrified gaze, I slowly revealed the secret they had been hiding for so long. "Do you think special people like this might get captured, taken to laboratories for research? Don't you agree? Especially someone who can turn into a cat?" Qingqian in the briefcase couldn't stay still any longer and directly crawled out of the bag, trying to pounce on me, her claws extended to scratch my face. But how could a little kitten possibly stand against a human? I dodged backward and swiftly grabbed her by the scruff of the neck, stuffing her into a cat carrier I had prepared earlier and placed in the meeting room. She let out shrill cries through the wire mesh. Su Jinghe reacted and tried to go to her rescue, but I kicked him in the back of the knee, sending him kneeling to the ground. When Qingqian was just captured, she kept cursing inwardly. Su Jingming stood up to resist again but was restrained by the special task force that had already arrived at the door. "Let me go, let me go. What right do you have to touch my cat? I'll sue you." He was extremely agitated but refused to admit that the cat was actually Qingqian, until Su Jinghe turned on that oddly shaped computer. A glowing ball kept bouncing on the screen, and the meows from Qingqian's cat mouth turned into human speech. "You'll die a horrible death." Qingqian's cat face suddenly froze, as if shocked by its own ability to speak human words. 54250, is that the host you mentioned? Su Jinghe pressed a button, and the light sphere on the screen seemed stimulated, moving even faster. "Yes," a peculiar mechanical voice came from the computer, but it sounded extremely weak. "System, what are you doing here?" Qingqian screamed. She couldn't understand why the long-missing system had appeared here, and transformed into a glowing orb inside the computer. Su Jingming, however, scanned his surroundings with a look of shock and suspicion. A cat speaking should normally evoke surprise or fear. Yet the circle of people around them remained calm, as if they had known about it all along. Qingqian realized this a second later, feeling a mix of desperation and resignation, as if she had nothing left to lose. "When did you find out?" she asked me. I remained silent, merely shaking my head at her regretfully before pulling out a hard drive and playing the footage previously captured by the surveillance. Thoughtfully, I adjusted the orientation of the cat carrier. Su Jingming's face instantly paled as he watched the video's contents. The spectacle of a cat transforming into a human, along with the entwined figures on my living room floor, played out starkly on the large screen. "When did you install surveillance?" Su Jingming lost all strength and collapsed onto the floor. The speakers still carried those embarrassing moans, but no one paid them any attention. I nodded at Su Jinghe. We owed him big time for this. Before I connected with Su Jinghe, he had already noticed something was off about the people around him. That car accident was far too unexpected, and Su Jingming, his younger brother, emerged abruptly as well. At the same time, his luck seemed to start favoring Su Jingming. By the time I approached him, he had already begun investigating certain unnatural occurrences. With my assistance and the successful collaboration with special departments, we captured this so-called system entity, and from its own words, we uncovered the truth behind the so-called stealing of fortune. "You lied to me, you're just a defective product." Hearing the system's words, Qingqian completely broke down. This so-called system wasn't what she claimed it to be, some sympathetic entity that recognized a chosen one, believing she had great potential but lacked fortune. Rather, it was a malfunctioning, rogue system on the verge of collapse. It preyed on Qingqian's ambition and bound her with a contract. But it never acted against its own interests. If Qingqian failed to seize the fortune belonging to me and Su Jingming, the contract would backfire, draining her life force instead. Though not as fortunate as the Child of Destiny, its luck was still sufficient to help it search for the next host. We were able to catch it this time because it sensed Qing Qian might fail and came out early to scout for a new host. Qing Qian completely lost her mind. The system's accumulated energy was nearly depleted, leaving it powerless to even revert Qing Qian back to human form. Qing Qian was frantically crashing against the wire bars inside the cat carrier, her cries piercing and desperate. Impossible, you clearly said I was the chosen one, that by stealing Cheng Wan and Su Jinghe's luck, I could become the sole heir, the young mistress of the Su family. You lied to me. The system's mechanical voice grew increasingly faint, the glowing orb on the screen flickering intermittently. The contract was always thus: host failure, energy backlash. I watched Qing Qian, who was completely out of control, and said coldly, "You're just too greedy. You coveted my family background, Su Jinghe's luck, and even went so far as to harm lives. Now you're just reaping what you've sown." Su Jingming was pinned against the wall by the special team members. Watching this scene with his face drained of color, he finally realized that from beginning to end, he had merely been a tool for Qing Qian and the system. They used his ambition as a stepping stone, his emotions as a facade, and in the end, dragged him into the abyss. The special investigation team stepped forward to confiscate the computer containing the system. As the leader passed by the cat carrier, they deliberately paused for a moment. According to regulations, carrying an unauthorized system, suspected of intentional harm and commercial crimes, Qing Qian must cooperate with the investigation. The case will subsequently be archived following unnatural incident protocols. Qing Qian froze upon hearing unnatural incident handling, her voice trembling as she stopped struggling. I don't want to be studied, Cheng Wan. I was wrong. I won't fight with you anymore. Just let me go. I let out a cold laugh, bending down to look at her as I spoke in a voice only the two of us could hear. Impossible, and I'll take good care of your mother. After all, this system originally parasitized her first, didn't it? It wasn't until I seized the system that I discovered there had been another chosen one before Su Jinghe and me, my mother. At that time, the system's host was none other than Qing Qian's mother. Unlike Qing Qian, she succeeded. My mother leaped from the building, her blood splattering before my eyes. The very next day, Qing Qian and her mother moved into our freshly cleaned home, including my previous life. That's 2 bloody human lives. Su Jinghe pushed the wheelchair over, patted the back of my hand reassuringly, and handed a document to the investigation team leader. This is Qing Qian transforming into a cat to infiltrate Qing Corporation, stealing trade secrets. A backup of the surveillance footage, submitted together. The team leader took the document and signaled to his subordinates. The two approached and opened the cat carrier, fastening a specially designed collar around Qing Qian. The moment it was put on, Qing Qian couldn't even muster the strength to cry out, only to be listlessly carried away. Su Jingming watched Qing Qian's retreating figure and suddenly collapsed to the ground, burying his hands in his hair, letting out muffled sobs. He once thought he could rely on Qing Qian and the system to rise to the top in one step, but never imagined that the higher he climbed, the harder he would fall. Watching him in this state, I felt not an ounce of sympathy. It's all your own choice, Su Jingming, Su Jinghe said calmly. Let's go, leave the rest to the bureau. It's over. I nodded and turned to walk out of the meeting room. The grudges of my past life have finally been settled. Those who once harmed me have all received their due punishment, but the story is far from over. This world harbors more than one flawed system, and my next target is those evil spirits hiding beneath human skins. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.